All right, so we're gonna get into it. Bro, how about Christian Watson, bro? This
Just how about him?
just
Just
how about him,
what
bro? This nigga's been going crazy. I didn't pull up the stats. I know he has 6 touchdowns, and I don't know how many yards he got, but just in the last 3 games, this nigga's racked up 6 tuds after people was talking shit, and now he's looking like a star. He's looking like a fucking star.
So I agree that he is looking like a star. So he has appeared in 9 games, started in 6 of them. So we're just gonna round this really down because of the injuries in which he sustained. It's really not a very big sample size. So he's only actually had 34 targets on the season, 22 receptions, 6 tutties, like you said, 353 yards. So just kind of breaking that down. We're not just going to throw a bunch of numbers at y'all and be like, here are all the numbers. We can read the internet.
No,
You know what I mean? Like, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I mean, the numbers is tight. Like the main reason for that is the breakdown of it more so. Like, yeah, the yards per game are going to be really low just based on the amount of production or the amount of games he's appeared in, chemistry that you're trying to work in. But the main thing that you're looking at is the yards per reception. He has 16 yards per reception, right? You know what I mean? Which means this man is a downfield threat, right? And you can see in the way that he's running his routes that this is a receiver who is not just like a Marquez Valdez-Scantling who seemed to only run 7/8 and 9s, corners, posts, and go routes, right? This is a person who can run the digs or, maybe perform an out route, or be able to run a post and sit there in the middle of the gap of the defense, So I think that he has the potential to be a big threat or home run hitter if he can build up the chemistry, with Aaron Rodgers, as well as if we can get Dobbs back on the field who showed promises or flashes that'll be able to help open it up. Because the main thing that we're really relying on is in that he has been hurt, right? And he got hurt coming into camp, and so he hasn't really had much time and progression there. But also, Rodgers didn't come to, the offseason workouts, which, I mean, do you expect him to, honestly? To be honest. Like,
nigga, he didn't. I mean, I don't expect him to, but, like, nigga, do you want to win? Or?
I mean, I get it. The dedication, you know what I mean? Like, we view things through everything of the Tom Brady dopeness, you know what I mean?
Like last year when the receiving core didn't change at all, I didn't give a fuck if he came or not because the receiving core didn't change at all. This year, when you have a completely new receiving core, you've thrown to none of these niggas except for your buddy Randall.
Did he believe?
You said, do I believe in A-Rod?
No. I was saying, but did he believe in them? Like the sentence was like, did he believe in like what he was being offered, right? Like you said, you got Kodak Watkins out there. Right?
Damn, my nigga, you tripping. We could have been superstars.
Right? Like, that's... So, like, the previous year they was bringing in Devin Funchess, like, were they really... like I'm saying, see, you got the thumbs down. So that's what I mean. Like we brought in our starting lineup are 2 rookie receivers, basically, right? And Randall Cobb, who is on his last, like, I can get you some catches. You know what I mean? Like,
with somebody who I have high chemistry with. I'm not trying to do catches as a regular guy.
Right, exactly. It's ball placement, it's back shoulders, it's I know where he wants me to be, right? So that's a valuable skill, within that. But basically that's it, right? We mentioned, just talking personally, it was like, where was Bobby at? Where's Big Bobby? Like, and being featured in the offense or taking stuff up. Lazard, isn't being, as the number one that he's being projected to be, right? So it's a lot of leaning on, that Rodgers probably wasn't settled with, hey, Devontae's out of here, as well as what are you guys offering me as this replacement, right? These other teams are going out and making these moves to bring in these receivers or get backup plans, right? Crazy. Eagles go get A.J. Brown. The Dolphins go get Tyreek Hill, right? You know what I mean? And y'all get me Kodak Watkins, right? So, like, it's I think that plays into it. But you're right, is that determination and that chemistry to help build up those receivers and get them to understand what Aaron actually wants out of them. But as far as getting it back to Watson, right, I think that he can be dynamic, because when we were talking about that picture that you sent me, or that screen cap saying that he had more touchdowns than Tyreek, than Justin Jefferson, than DK Metcalf, than CeeDee Lamb, right?
Yeah, I was just about to touch on that.
4 or 5
the full
respectively.
List is he has more touchdowns than Justin Jefferson, than CeeDee Lamb, than Tyreek Hill, and DK Metcalf.
Right. So yeah, that's that in itself, I feel, can be a deceiving kind of stat within that. You can get goal line touchdowns, but not necessarily get like the production. Now, this doesn't speak to Watson, right? When I'm mentioning this, right, I just mean that it can be a trick, or a mind trick, to just throw out like this one number and be like, look, he has more touchdowns than them, right? But if you look at their production, right, Hill right now is getting 112 yards a game. Justin Jefferson, 112 yards a game.
You know what Jets is doing.
Right. Justin, 112 yards a game. Right. Him and Tyreek are a yard away from each other at 12:33 and 12:32 on the season. They just don't have the touchdowns. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so they're just not getting the actual like reward of pay dirt, but they're getting you all the production. Right. And so, like, that particularly can be deceiving, because their yards per reception are 15.2, 14.2. So it really can depend there. But when you talk about, say, like maybe a DK or like a CeeDee Lamb, right, who could potentially, he may be able to work his way up in that tier, because Justin Jefferson is on his 3rd year, CeeDee's on his 3rd year, right? These people, DK I think is either on his 3rd or 4th year, so they're still relatively young in the game. When it talks about them actually. Right, Tyreek ain't been here, too long himself. He's maybe 6, 7, season. Like I have to look exactly for his seasons played, but just the production, when you're kind of thinking about the leaps that they're taking. If you get that first year kind of chemistry within it, give him another off season to work into an NFL body, an NFL production, and so he can maybe build upon that. But when you look at what he has in a package, which is speed, route running ability, and if he still needs to improve on some of the hands, you know what I mean? Like, and we're not just talking about the opening drop on the season, right? We're just talking about just, hey, make sure you're bringing it all the way through, catching it through,
basic hand,
to the ball.
Just basic hand work from a receiver in the NFL.
Right.
That's it.
Right, and so that's all we'd be asking. But I think it's a very promising thing for Christian Watson, in that.
It's been really exciting, because way back to the beginning of the season, if you remember, it was Romeo Doubs who was actually emerging first. But like you said, Christian Watson was battling a lot of injury. He had that ankle sprain or the hamstring thing that was going on the whole offseason, and then the drop fucked up his psyche, and then all this and that. So Romeo Doubs was the one who was actually developing a little bit quicker first. So it'll be interesting to see both of those gentlemen on the field together. I'm excited about that. I was excited when I saw Jordan Love come in and instantly throw a touchdown on a slant to Watson. That was amazing. I was like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And I think that gave a lot of the pocket brass and hopefuls, a lot of, hopefully some good things to look forward in the future. It made us kind of feel a little bit more safe, like, maybe we could play Jordan Love a little bit, because he looked a lot more decisive in his 9 throws than he did in any other gameplay I've seen him play. But he looked nice this preseason. I said that out loud a couple times. Like, I'm like, he looks a lot better this preseason than he's looked in the past. So we'll see if the coaches want to act like they can coach. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. You got any final? We got about 2 minutes left. You got any final thoughts on the topic?
I think that with Christian Watson, what we also don't want to do is like lump all our expectations in him to take the massive leap, right? Within that, because it's also going. He's just gonna do. He's like, I'm taking the leap, fucking Grand Canyon style, like. right? Listen, man, I'm not saying this, man, because he has the open field speed. If you get him in space, right, that's the thing that I was going to mention, is that he has the tools to be a good player. What we can't do is that put his lack of production, if he does have a slump, on him, because we've seen some dips in both what the quarterback consistently can do, right, this season at least, whether battling injuries or not, and what our actual game plan has been past the first drive, and even the first drive being shitty. So, it's going to be a very intricate balance that we walk, trying to put like Christian Watson and leap him up, but we might not have the game plan that is sustaining that, or we might not be taking those shots, or giving them those opportunities, because we're trying to either be conservative, which isn't working, or we're trying to do this battle between who's actually in power, of the play calling, right? And who do I actually have to listen to when I'm speaking about the quarterback, whether it's me doing these audibles and doing these checks, or if I'm going to trust this system, and is the system actually working, because I feel that there's still a little bit of tension there, because you can see that there's a lot of inconsistency, and you can tell with the press conferences and the media that's been taking place with Aaron Rodgers and saying we need to simplify things, and just not having faith. I think there's still a little bit of a disconnect on what they feel the game plan should be.
Right. Okay, last question. Just a quick answer. You don't have to have an explanation behind it. He's at 6 right now. How many think he'll be at the end of the year? How many touchdowns?
Let's see. So we have 5 games left? 5 games left. I will give him another 4 touchdowns. I think he can get to 10. Yeah.
Do you know what the rookie record is for touchdowns? Receiving?
I can look it up real quick. Do you know it?
I don't. Damn, it's 17. Randy Moss. Randy Tandy.
Yeah, Randy Tandy. Buddy, yeah, he ain't never in his life gonna catch 17.
Maybe
I was like, it's gotta be Randy.
In week 1, goddamn.
I mean, shit, maybe, but even then,
right? Niggas get the game planning, and you're a rookie. You be like, oh,
Randy Tandy.
That's crazy. 17. That's crazy. That's a touchdown a game, bro. As a rook.
That's a little more than that, because we got 17 now. They had 16 then.
Yeah, it's touchdown point 1.
Yeah.
Touchdown point 1 2.
Right, this man on it.
Oh my God! All right,